And a very good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Issues and Attitudes. My name is Jeff Owens, director at WEIU. My guest here every year, every summer with her smile on is Angelia Burgett.
Hello, how are you?
Which means it's Bagelfest time, right?
It is. It's the week.
It is the week. Bagelfest, Mattoon City of Mattoon's tourism director, everything above, and Bagelfest guru. You like that one?
I'll take it. I'll take it.
So you've got some great guests coming in for the weekend for the concerts, and we'll tease those a little bit and get to those before we go through some of the stuff. But I wanted to talk about some of the things that have already done, because Bagelfest really started a couple days ago. Really, so you had the Miss Bagelfest done, and you also had a weightlifting event. So
we have Relentless Fitness in Mattoon. This is their second year doing that in the Rotary Band Shell. Just a beautiful turnout. They did a great job, and it kind of brings in another element that we've never done before they brought the idea to us. And then the Miss Bagelfest pageant is moved back to Saturday so that we can allow those queens to do all the things that are Bagelfest related and be present. So that was a successful Saturday.
How'd you go?
Yeah.
So, and then tomorrow night is the beautiful baby bagel contest.
Yes.
And then everything else goes on. So when and where tomorrow night?
So tomorrow night, one of the things that had been done the last handful of years is that we had separated out the younger babies with the older babies. Sounds wrong to say, but they were on two different nights just because there were so many people, and you know how this is, grandmas and moms and dads, and just a lot of people want to see their kids. And so this year we were able to put it in the Rural King Event Center in the mall, and that gives them plenty of space to do it on one night, which is great because a lot of folks do have two kids involved, so that's good. And so that is that's in the Cross County Mall.
That's tomorrow night.
Yep.
Or Tuesday night, the 18th, if you were looking at. As I looked through some of the stuff, one of the new things, a mustache event.
Yeah. So one of the things that we recognize, or I recognize, as not being around for all the Bagel Fests. This is year 18, but before that there was many what I would call sort of traditional things that were done around bagels that had kind of gone to the wayside. But we're trying to bring some more, I would say, low-tech fun stuff back. And so one of the things is a local mustache and beard contest. And so it's going to be just fun and silly, and I think it's going to be one of those things that we'll see if it sticks.
Now, you said this was your 18th year, which I didn't. It seemed like to me, it seemed like you'd been there longer, but I guess because of the stuff we did at McDonald's and WMCI way back when, it just seems like the relationship's longer. But 18 years. So do you still have the same feeling this week? Is everything there?
Yeah, I mean, every year is an uphill battle to make sure that we're still, I say this before, relevant. Are we still doing something interesting for people to come out to? Are we adding to the schedule? Are we doing all the things that they still love and making sure we have entertainment that people enjoy? And I think this year's lineup makes me really proud.
One thing I think is neat about it is the consistency of the dates and some of the events being out at the same time. Because as the world has rapidly changed in mostly the last 4 or 5 years, the one thing I guess people can count on is that Bagelfest really doesn't change the big pillars of what makes it happen on the Wednesday through Saturday.
Well, and the way I look at it, I mean, we measure success in a lot of different ways, but when people show up and when people, we're going to have probably, when we talk about the world's largest bagel breakfast, we're going to have the world's largest Bagel Fest parade this year. So people still showing up, wanting to be in it, wanting to be involved, still wanting to buy tickets, still wanting to do the carnival things. That makes it something we go forward with.
What's been your biggest challenge thus far, getting up to this point?
Well, kind of as you mentioned, the last 4 or 5 years, predicting people's behavior, I've decided is my new calling, because coming out of COVID, people were very excited about everything. Didn't matter what you did, they were excited, and that was a great time to be doing things. And now, a few years after COVID started, we've got what I consider probably a doubling, maybe even a tripling of events in our area. So what are you doing to be interesting so that you stand out above other events, or that people choose to come out to see you as opposed to other events, or do it all?
Now, how do you motivate your staff and the volunteers to do what needs to be done this week?
Well, fortunately, I have a really good staff. I mean, they're self-motivated because they understand, especially when you get to the end and you see people. I always talk about the people who come put their lawn chairs out on Saturday morning for the parade, or you see people that come and volunteer every year or buy tickets every year. There's something very satisfying about that. So I don't have to push too hard. They're pretty motivated.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Anything else that's new this year before we get into some of the day-by-day stuff?
One of the things that we added to the free concert on Thursday night, because we have Colton Dixon, who's an American Idol finalist, coming in. He's a Christian artist. It's a free concert, but we've added into the ball field where people are starting to gather around between 6 and 8. fun festival things for free. So we've got some churches doing some bagel games. We've got a free face painter. We're just trying to create an atmosphere that, because families are coming in to gather anyway, so they go out, they get their corn dog, they can come back in, kids get their face painted, and there's kind of activity prior to the concert. So that's another thing we're doing.
Have you noticed, or is it just me, that it seems like live music has made a big comeback in Mattoon the last, really post-COVID / last year and a half?
I think it's really one of the things that I would refer to as, sort of this incredible surge in events in general. And I think one of the things that's more interesting is that it's local music. We just really do have an incredible amount of folks who are super talented.
Yeah.
So, and even we did something different this year with Bagel Bites.
I want to talk about that.
And so it's one of those things where I think it's great to have this big event, Bagelfest, a long, week-long event. People can pop in and out of it. But it's also good to have small events where people can come in. And, of course, I missed this one, but I'm going to go to the next one.
Yeah. You remember mine on Bagel Bites. I was at the second one, didn't make the first one. But there'll be another one after Bagelfest, right? Talk about what will happen later in August.
Friday, August 4th in Heritage Park, which is right across the street from the train station, from the depot. We're going to have Sound City there. It's a free concert. We'll have food trucks. You just come out and enjoy just being outside and listening to live music. And then we've created something new called the Festival District, which we do also have a chance to do that at our concerts at Bagelfest. And so it allows our vendors to sell alcohol, or even some of our local restaurants to sell alcohol, and it be able to be taken to the park.
There you go. That's cool.
Yeah.
Community response so far to Bagelfest 2023. Are the tickets going well, and is everything positive when you talk to people?
Really interesting is that everything seems to be equally important. Like sometimes we'll have one act that, just everybody's excited about, but there's this sense of, maybe it's because all 3 nights are so very different. And of course, we don't sell tickets on Thursday night, but there is a sense that this is, I would say, the most recognizable Christian artist we brought in. And so there's a sense of enthusiasm around him as well. So I would say, everything seems to be important.
Let's talk about the Thursday night. What time and where, and really, how did you get him? That's what we always talk about, Mr. Dixon there.
Well, the Christian artist is a little bit different process. So somebody had reached out during the winter and said, hey, we've got this spring thing that we're going to be doing with Colton Dixon in your area. And I said, well, not spring, but how about July? So we started in the conversation that way, and we were able to bring him in, and very tickled about the enthusiasm around him. He's got several hits on the Christian charts right now, and has a recognizable name, obviously, from being on TV. People feel pretty confident they know him. You know how that goes. And so, it worked out beautifully.
Yeah, and that's a big name, and it's also free, really.
It is,
Those donations can be accepted.
Yeah, we do have donations for One Stop Community Christmas, so we're really proud of being able to do that with a partnership with them.
So before we get to Friday, then, what other things on Wednesday and Thursday, carnival-wise and other event-wise?
So we have armbands for sale right now. So in the Peterson House, you can call if you'd like, but you could also drop by. They're $20 now for the armbands, which starts out on Wednesday night. And there's an armband time each day. They're $20 now. They're $25 after Wednesday afternoon. So if you can get them before noon on Wednesday, you'll save some money, especially if you have more than one kid. That's a big savings. And so Wednesday night, we open up with the armband night from 6 to 10. We also have, and this is another thing that's new, is Bimbo Bakeries is bringing in bagel games, and they're going to be in the Rotary Band Shell from 5 to 7 doing a variety of things, just fun, free, and, really focused on that it's Bagel Fest.
There you go.
Yep. You on Thursday?
Yeah, go ahead. Thursday.
So Thursday, then we also, the carnival's open again, and then we have armbands from 6 to 10. The carnival is open from 6 to 11, but 6 to 10 is the armband. We have bingo in the DeMar Center from 6 to 9, which is the one air-conditioned spot. I always tell people, and those are still $quarter a game, so, no better value than that. And so folks can go play bingo from 6 to 9, and then the vendors are open at 5. And then we have the beard and mustache competition in the band shell, and that's from 5 to 7. At 6 o'clock, the gates open for Colton Dixon, and that's when the games and things will start, free face painting for the kids, and then he takes the stage at 8.
Okay, 8 o'clock, and he'll play probably for a couple hours, I would assume, right?
It's a hour and a half.
Okay, all right, that's cool.
Yeah.
Now, if you recall, last year at this time, I asked you this same question I asked you the year before, previous year. You said, I might have news this year, so putting you on the spot. World's biggest bagel, any update on where you would stand on?
I'm confident that we've got one coming soon.
Okay.
I can't commit to a year, but the conversation's still being had, and we're in good talks about
What
that.
year is this
yeah.
Bagelfest number wise?
37.
So maybe at the 40? I'm just kidding.
Well, I'm just saying I'll tell you what, we have got a great partner in Bimbo. So we got Bimbo and we've got Lenders, obviously the brand under Bimbo, but we also have Thomas Bagels out there as well. They're producing more bagels than anybody else in the world right now. And so they're very interested in being a part of that.
Okay, cool. I'm just going to keep asking. Then one
Please
year
do.
you'll surprise
Yes,
me.
yeah.
Now I got to add, come to the dark side.
Yes.
Is your theme for Bagel Fest.
Well,
when I first heard that, I knew where you were going, and I saw
it's
the
really Return of the Bagel. It's Return of the Bagel. It's the Come to the Dark Side. We have bagels as a part of the T-shirt.
Okay.
So you can say that however you want to, but one of the things it's people are excited about the theme more than a lot of years because we do also have characters coming. We have Star Wars characters coming to be a part of our event on Saturday. So. That's also a big part
all
of it.
day or just in a certain
They're going to
time?
be there part of the parade and a part for the morning. And they're going to kind of come in and out of the day.
All right. How's this one? And then the parade, you kind of said, well, you think it's going to be the biggest one ever?
Yeah. So 4th of July this year, which we also do that parade. It was a 2-hour parade, and for those of you who watched that, I mean, it was incredibly good. I expect this year to be Bagelfest to be somewhere in that
Really?
vicinity. Yeah. It's a combination of things. It's a theme. It's the fact that it's expected to be decent weather. It's just a part of just generally enthusiasm around it.
Yeah. We never like to talk about weather when at events, but when you look at this week,
Yeah.
it's not going to be 1,000.
Which is a blessing.
Which in America, the 30-some years you've been doing it,
Yeah.
it's always like, Bagelfest is going to be hot. So right now, knock on wood, it's in the 80s maybe, which is livable, and
Yeah.
just some sprinkles here or there. But Friday and Saturday look absolutely gorgeous for your.
You get that sun go down on an
Yeah.
80-degree day. That's lovely.
Yep,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
Then let's go to the big 2 nights that most people talk about. Friday night. And then Saturday with the guy from the Martell, the Queen impersonator, or the Freddie Mercury impersonator, whatever you want to call him.
So Friday, we have, and we'll start with the carnival. Opens at 1 o'clock. We have armbands from 1 to 5. Vendors open. It says 1 o'clock, but I will tell you a lot of our vendors will be open at noon for lunch. So anytime Friday was a good day to come out, get out of your office and come have a corn dog. And in the band shell, we have the Mattoon Community Band and then bingo from 6 to 9 in the DeMar Center, of course. And then opening up at 6 o'clock are the gates for the Country Comeback Tour. And just a reminder, that's 3 acts. We have Shenandoah is kind of our lead act, Billy Dean and Wade Hayes. So this is the first time that we've ever brought in a multiple act, like a combo. And so...
and if you were listening,
Yeah.
Bid Mix right before this, we were playing nothing but Billy Dean, Wade Hayes,
Yeah.
Queen, and Shenandoah.
As you should.
Yes.
As you should.
Yes.
So yeah, the 90s country music, first of all, is extraordinarily popular anyway, right?
Yeah.
But in this area, I think we really did well to get them
Oh.
together. It's real. People have really responded to it because it's nostalgia. It's what some people might think of as more traditional country.
Well, and I'm going to say this, and I don't want to sound, but that's when the '90s were when WMCI had started, late '89,
Yeah.
and we brought country and we had a lot to that area here, and so it was all those acts where we were playing multiple times over and over. I mean,
Yeah.
those were hit makers of the '90s, so it's kind of neat they're back here in
Yeah.
2023. Who would have ever thought?
Well, and the other thing too is that because you've got all 3 of them, it's just going to be hit after
Yeah.
hit after hit. You're going to know every word to every song, and there's just fun with that. And as I kind of alluded to, we're going to have alcohol as a festival district again, inside the concert venue, not outside. So if you come in and you come to see the concert, you can get alcohol. We've got La Luna doing a beer truck. You can't take it outside the concert venue, but that's a change for us.
There you go.
Yeah.
And again, every time you add little nuances, it makes it either makes it a little bit better or a bit different. So there you go. Then Saturday is the big day, obviously.
Yes.
So with the parade and the run and everything else.
Yes, run for the bagel. Are you running?
I'm not. I don't know if my wife is or not. So.
Yeah.
She
Well-
might not be because I think the next week is they head to Peoria for the Crazy Ladies.
Yes.
Run, so.
Well, and so I know we get a lot of the St. Jude's runners
Yeah.
in the Run for the Bagel as well. It starts at 6:30 a.m. Yes. That's
you go.
there.
If you're watching on TV, run for the Bagel logo.
So then the Run for the Bagel is 6:30. I know that if you're going to do a last-minute sign-up, to get there at 6:15, you could probably get squared away that way. And then we have the world's largest bagel breakfast taking place from 8 to 10 in the DeMars Center. We also have coffee and juice for sale there as well. And then during that time, one of the things we've been adding for the last handful of years is a little bit of music inside the band shell while things are happening inside the DeMars Center next to it. And we have the Sweet and Salty Quartet. And so that's an a cappella group that's going to be just entertaining while folks are getting their bagels and moving in and out of the park. And then the parade starts at 10:30. So ideally you could go to the run, go to the breakfast, listen to a little music, and then get in line for the parade. And so, like I said, I think this will be a longer parade because of the number of entries we have now. And then we have the vendors opening by 11. So you're ready to go for another corn dog.
There you go.
There's all kinds of options. I'm not saying there's just corn dogs. And then we have the carnival open from noon to 11, arm bands from noon to 4, and bingo in the DeMars Center from 1 to 5.
Okay. And then Saturday night,
And Saturday night,
the person you stalked.
yes, I stalked. So Mark Martell and One Vision of Queen. For those who haven't listened to them or listened to Mark, to say they're a tribute band just undersells it.
Yeah.
Because it's not something where you've got kind of a sound and somebody trying to be Freddie Mercury. This guy has been very involved in the sound of Freddie Mercury for Bohemian Rhapsody, the movie, and really very involved in with the previous Queen band or the current Queen band before he did this with the tribute band. So he's very invested, and he's an incredible musician, and I just think there's going to be nobody who's disappointed with that.
Yeah.
Nobody.
So you kind of told me off mic, but, can you tell the listeners and the viewers how you really this happened? I mean,
Yeah,
to
so,
get this guy.
Well, he has been in Effingham a couple times, and so he has a bit of a reputation. All the folks who have seen him before, I mean, there's like, of course we'll see him again. So there's excitement around that. And so I found that he was represented by somebody who we had hired another artist through.
Yeah.
And so, and he lives in Nashville, so there was, an easy connection there. And so I started down that path almost immediately after Bagelfest was over last year. So it's, I feel very proud of getting him here. We are very excited about the kind of response we're getting from people who have seen him before. Because if they've seen him before, they're absolutely willing to pay anything. And they want, we did some things different, both with Country Comeback and Queen this year. We did VIP seating and packaging, and we sold out of those, especially for Mark Martell, very quickly because people are so enthusiastic about him. And so if you haven't listened to him on YouTube, you just got to do it.
Well, when you think about just Queen would never play Mattoon, and this is the closest thing you're ever going to get, and so it's going to rock.
Not because we wouldn't want him to,
no,
because we couldn't afford him.
Yeah,
there
exactly.
we go.
A little over the budget there, but
Yeah.
that's kind of neat. And it's kind of been the story we've talked about in the previous years with some of these acts like this have been incredible with the Elton John and all that
Yeah.
stuff. The only other thing it's kind of a weather concern. We didn't talk about the weather is this silly air quality thing. Does that concern you at all?
I think people have to be just what are their own personal limitations. I wouldn't think that if the air quality is bad, they should be out, first thing in the morning all the way through the evening. That's probably not wise in general, but right now I don't have any concerns about it. I mean, there's nothing that we do that you couldn't pop in and out of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you get asked the most this week as the Bagelfest coordinator?
A lot of it has to do with entertainment. How do we get them and what the process is. Funny enough, we usually get a lot of recommendations this time of year, which is always funny because you just never can really predict. I mean, of course, there's the Carrie Underwoods of the world. Well, we got an idea that we're never going to be able to afford her, right?
Yeah.
And that's fine, but it's remarkable how expensive some of our, what I would consider classics, and comparatively, you just can never predict. So people make a lot of suggestions like, "Oh, that'd be great, but I'd love for that to happen, but we can't make that big swing." So we did some. We always are looking for new ideas. So I welcome all of it. It's just not always possible.
I understand that. What do you look most forward to this week? Is there one act or one person that you're thinking, I got to go see that one?
Well, I'm really tickled with our lineup this year, all 3 nights. And so Thursday is kind of the unknown because there's no ticket sales.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that quite a bit. And then I'm, honestly, all 3 nights of music. We have such a supportive sponsorship culture in Mattoon. We have a lot of support, but we do certainly depend on those ticket sales to make everything work.
For the shows, for the 2 shows that are I guess all 3, but really for the 2 shows that are in the field, how many seats can you get out there to sell for? Do you?
Well, the only time we've ever cut it off, really held it to a number, was 14 years ago with Zach Brown, because we were at a place where they just hit they hit number 1 and we had them and it was crazy. And so we don't really have a limitation set on that. If it got really crazy, I think we would make adjustments to where we allow people to sit. But our lawn seating especially there's quite a few people could be out there.
I said if there's a number like that, you got.
I do have
4,000 in the park.
I think 4,000, between 4,500 and 5,000 probably be a little much, but that's possible.
What about people that are going to any of the Bagelfest this weekend? About some of the basic standard rules of the do's, don'ts, and parking and all that.
Common sense. We can. I don't know what that means anymore. But there's no smoking in the park. There hasn't been for a long time. We ask you not to bring your dogs, mostly because you could have a great dog, but somebody else's dog isn't friendly, and that's trouble for a lot of things. Obviously, we're out of fireworks season, but don't bring fireworks. I mean, that seems like common sense, but I heard some at my house last night.
Oh yeah, fireworks are July 4th only, and they should stop by 9.
That's a request from my dog. So, and then just use common sense about interacting with folks. I mean, we have such a good community. We have a lot of travelers this particular season for the festival. So, I mean, I think of it as an opportunity to not just worry about this week, but what are we doing to set ourselves up for bringing people back again and again. And so I'm always thinking about that.
What about any new vendors, or what can we expect out there? Food, drink, and all that stuff?
We interestingly enough have been full of it. Our vendor spaces have been full for a very long time. We have a lot of our traditional vendors are going to be there. One of the new ones is Dave's Bagels, who does serve Lender's Bagels as a part of his product
That's
line.
That's probably a good idea.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was kind of a conversation we had. So the just a lot of variety. So. But I would say it's a lot of your favorites.
There you go. Are there other things that are set up out there in terms of booths and stuff that people can visit, like people selling things? Or
We have some craft vendors. The talking about sort of the cultural shift of things. This has become less of a craft fair and more of a food festival kind of thing. I think that's pretty true of a lot of outdoor festivals. So there will be some, and there will be, I know we have T-shirts and we have, mugs with their names on them and things that are printed like that. I know that's one of the crafts that we have a few vendors like that. So that would be something to look for.
Do you know that? Are there any class reunions and stuff that it seems like people always, kind of plan that? And
yeah.
Have you heard any of the particulars yet?
I know 73 is having one because they're participating with, coming to the concert and that kind of thing on Saturday night. So I know that there's a couple besides that, but a lot of times they just show up. So, we do have coordinations with one, but I know there's others.
What about, have you got any people that are coming from far away, because they want to see an act, and they've told you because they bought tickets and you saw California on the receipt or anything?
Well,
I love stories like that.
Well, more than anything, it's been Chicago area, Indiana, Indianapolis area, St. Louis area, because of Mark Martell particularly.
Is that it?
Because he's done a few more. He does a lot of international shows, and so to catch him in Illinois is kind of a
big thing.
A big deal. Yeah.
Yeah,
it is a big deal.
Had a brain lock on my next question. What else, I guess what else has changed over the last 18 years when you think about that first year to this year? Other things that just stand out?
I feel like we have better systems in place. I feel more we have a plan. Like I said, I have a great team. We have great volunteers too. That's always been the case.
That was my question.
The we still have people. When I started, I was shocked that people were taking off. They're taking vacation from work. They're burning vacation time. They're spending hours out in the heat. It's pretty remarkable. So in that regard, we still have that. We have such support with sponsors. So, it's kind of like we're the city putting on this event, but we don't do it without, you know,
Sponsor
the
support,
three-legged
yeah.
stool kind of concept where you've got sponsors, volunteers, and the city doing it together. And so it wouldn't work otherwise.
And do you still need volunteers, or is it too late?
Oh, we would absolutely take volunteers.
All right.
I know for instance, that the YMCA doing the Run for the Bagel could still use them. I'm pretty confident our bagel breakfast as well. But if you call our office, and we can get you set up.
Okay. I always like to also touch a little bit on the historical perspective. Can you tell us about why this started with Mr. Murray Linder?
I think it's a lovely story. I wasn't in Mattoon at the time, but the idea that Murray Linder came to town and he said, you know, I'm going to throw this free bagel breakfast because I'm introducing this product to what at the time wasn't a familiar product, I think, in the Midwest. And so we're going to produce these bagels in Mattoon, so let's make sure you know what we're doing. And so, you know, the pictures of the long tables down Broadway eating bagels, and that idea being evolved into a bagel breakfast downtown and festival pieces downtown, and then eventually in the park. And the park is just so well suited for giving you some relief from the sun, also having an indoor space for the bagel breakfast, you know, and just it's a better setup. It also allows us to kind of stretch out the things that we're doing so that if we want to add some things, and parking is much easier, I think. So it's about hospitality, in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah.
You ready for the world famous silly questions? That
Sure,
we're-
I'll do
they're
my
not
best.
really-
I'll
they're
do my
not
best.
silly. But,
Yeah.
We'll start out with your favorite Queen song.
I'm going to have to go. You see, you asked me tomorrow, it'd be a different answer because I've been a little bit obsessive listening to,
Mike Martell.
yeah, to Mark Martell and
Mark Martell.
but I just listened to him sing "Fat Bottom Girls" yesterday, and I was like, oh, well, that's my favorite now. So you know, any of them could do because what isn't to like about Queen?
There you go.
Yeah.
Of the three country acts coming, Shenandoah, Billy Dean, and Wade Hayes, is there a song or two that stands out from them?
You know, I feel like 90s country just has that, universally has that appeal for the sentimentality, perhaps because I'm an 80s kid, you know, maybe that's it. You know, 2 Dozen Roses is probably the most familiar song in the bunch of things. I mean, there's a lot of good things. I'm going to say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mine would be Billy the Kid, but I'll give you yours.
Okay, good.
Is there a TV show each week that you cannot miss, that you have to watch?
You know, because of streaming services, that's kind of screwed everything up in terms of when things are on and what they do. So I do like The Voice. We'll say The Voice just because that's the most regular thing.
Favorite snack food, but it can't be a bagel.
With chips and salsa. Yeah.
Favorite bagel topping.
You know, just a toasted bagel, a little bit of butter and cream cheese is probably good.
Regular cream cheese?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. How many Bagelfest shirts do you own?
Oh my goodness. Well, see, you have to count all the ones that are just staff shirts, and then you got to get the ones that are, way too many. Way too many. But by the way, let me say this, if you don't mind. Anybody out there that has old shirts that they would like to find a home for, we're going to start putting together sort of a collection of all the shirts, and we are especially missing those 80s and 90s because that's a different season.
I understand.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I had.
Okay, fantastic.
Angelia Burgett. Bagelfest is this week. She's excited. Thank
Yep.
you so much for coming in again.
Thank you.
Real quickly, the website or any way to contact you if they need be.
So the Peterson House, you can come in and buy tickets, carnival tickets or concert tickets. 800-500-6286 is the number. ExploreMattoon.org is our website.
We are WEIU. Thank you.